Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, man. Listen, people, make sure you're subscribing to the channel as always. Make sure that you're leaving your likes in here as well. Today, we're joined by a man like Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Big Brighton fan. You know, Chelsea fans, you don't probably remember him from the summer that we went and got Caicedo last year. He was rattling a lot of people on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to him about it backstage. Because I remember him from that time period. But what are you saying, Ryan, man? You good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I say things have changed, but realistically, I was saying this on our preview yesterday. If we win, right, I think everyone's going to be rattled on your end again. So we say it's dead, but is it really that dead? I don't know. I guess we'll talk about it in this episode.
No, 100%. I mean, good thing for us. We beat you 3 times last year. You know, we beat you in the
did.
Carabao Cup. Remember, that was Palmer's first start. Jackson scored that game as well. You know, we beat you at the Bridge. We had 10 men that game. Remember, Gallagher got sent off. We
I was there,
you.
mate. I was there.
Yeah, I was there as well. And then we beat you away when Palmer scored that nice scoop header, and Cuckoo scored as well. So listen, there's a lot to get into, people, because obviously, just like us, Brighton have a new manager, the youngest manager in the league, actually, if I'm correct, and
Right.
they've kind of gone under the radar. I saw a stat the other day that they haven't lost a game in their last 5 games. So Ryan, like, what's been the biggest change for you this season in terms of style of play? Like, what have you sort of been seeing, you know, in terms of your style of play this year? Has it looked different to last year? What have you liked so far as well about the season so far?
Yeah, it's a good question because a lot's changed everywhere. I think not just style of play, but within the club. But I think when you look at, you know, Brighton, you would associate them to being a good footballing side that like to hold the ball, be patient. That's probably changed a bit, I'd say. You know, when you compare it to De Zerbi last season, we were really, really emphasising playing out from the back. You saw so many times where we'd, you know, sort of force errors and we'd get ourselves in trouble quite a lot of time because we'd hold the ball so deep. So that's one thing that's changed. We don't do that quite so much. We still do it because we can, but not so much emphasis on it. It's more, I'd say, with Hutzler, it's almost like the German pressing way of, you know, counter-attacking and, you know, counter-pressing. And we've noticed that a little bit more, a lot more physically dominant. I think when you look in our midfield, a lot more players are a lot more sort of physically ready. I think when you look at us last season, we didn't really have that many physical players, that many sort of taller, broader players to take players on. Whereas this season, it's a lot more, you know, the sort of combative midfielders we got now, especially with Baleba. He's like an absolute powerhouse, right? And we've missed that. We feel the same. So it's going to be interesting, really, because obviously Chelsea are going through a bit of a transition as well. Again, started really well, similarly to us. But I'd actually argue that on our side of the fence, yes, our results have been quite good. You're quite right, we're unbeaten so far. But I would say there's still teething problems. We're not quite there yet. It does feel like the start of something new.
What's been the major issue that you've had so far? Because just watching it from an outsider point of view, I caught your game the other day against Forest, and for me, you get in good areas. So your build-up is quite good, to be fair. You know how to get into the final third. And I've actually got some of your, I've got a few screenshots here of how Brighton have been building up from what I've been watching, right? So let me just quickly bring that up, people. Where is it here? So, right, Brighton. Right, there we go. Okay, so we've got the shape here. This is what I was seeing. Yeah. So this is what I was seeing. So you've got Baleba there. What you tend to do is obviously you've got the centre backs. Van Heck gets on the ball a lot. That's one thing that I noticed. He gets on the ball quite a lot. Tends to be the person that you trust at the back there, more than Dunk, from what I'm seeing. You've got Baleba here building up, and then you tend to have like 3 in front of him over here. Which for me, against Chelsea, if you want to build like this, it's going to be a problem for you guys on the transition, Ryan. So that's where I'm going to sort of go into it tactically in terms of what your manager is going to do. Is he going to go into a pivot for this game, or is he going to keep Baleba by himself? Because I know you're saying Baleba seems to be a bit of a destroyer, but when you've got the likes of Mickey, Palmer, and guys running at you, bro, it's a headache. It's a headache for teams. That's what we found at the minute. So, you know, what I've noticed is that when you don't get in the final third, Adingra, you know, his end product doesn't seem to be the best. Mitoma, you know, he's good at running at his man, but again, I'm not really seeing much end product from him this year. Welbeck, to be fair, hates playing against. He loves playing against Chelsea. Even he's always scoring goals against us for some reason. Yeah, so I'm worried about him, to be fair, a bit cautious about him, even, right? But what's been the major problem that you've seen so far? Like, what is it that you haven't really liked as much so far?
I'd probably say Yeah, as you say, the sort of double pivot thing, which we're trying with, we haven't really settled yet. We signed Max Weaver. He's had a bit of an injury, so he's not quite come straight in. Hinchwood's obviously only played one game in midfield so far. He's mostly played as a left back, which again isn't where he's supposed to be playing. I was quite surprised that we learned out Valentin Barker on that, by the way. I don't quite get that one. That's the only bit of Brighton business I didn't understand. So yeah, I feel like because of the amount of signings we've made, we're in a very, very different territory right now where Brighton have actually brought in a lot of players. We spent all that money that you've given us, right? And we've gone through that whole transition period of spending actually £200 million in the summer, which for Brighton is absolutely mind-boggling. I can't believe I'm even saying that Brighton has spent that sort of money. But with that's obviously come a lot more pressure, a lot more expectation. And obviously the players are, going through a bit of a, they're not quite gelling yet. They're not quite ready yet. So I think you notice that in midfield, there are some times where it's not quite flowing. But actually, I think some of it's more in defence. I think Hertz has got a bit of a way of playing the sort of high line. And that's been where we've been caught. I think you saw against Forest, that second goal. I think it happened a couple of times against Ipswich. It happened... I think it was against Arsenal. I want to say I can't remember exactly now, but we've had a couple of times we've been exploited, and it only takes a half, sort of decent, intelligent player and a pacey winger, a pacey forward to get in behind that. So, yeah, you saw. I don't know if you'll bring up the Forest moment here. Yeah, it's pretty similar actually. This is us on the attack, but when you look at us defensively, that's where I'd worry. Going forward, though, you can sort of see. Yeah, we're looking good. We like to overload a bit like how we did under Graham Potter, really. Much more overload, much more, as I said, physically dominant players. Baleba, Welbeck, even Minte to an extent. He's not physical, but he's like a little rat, right? He'll run at everything and he'll sort of be, quite in your face, and he's very, very quick. Jorginho is obviously the technical player in that, but when you look at our team now, it's different going forward. It's a lot more overload. I think we'd sense, smell blood sort of thing, and we'll go for you. But again, it's all new, so we can't expect it to be perfect. And I think when that ball comes across, of all of the players on that pitch, I'd still rather it be João Pedro on the end of it. And that's one thing we'll miss against.
Yeah, 100%. Is he injured?
He's injured, yeah. He's going to be out for a while as well.
Oh, he's not available for this, yeah? Okay, because he scored against us when we played you lot last.
Mate, he's him. He's the one you want. And I think, he's the talisman. He's the guy that will score. And, 9 times out of 10, I'd back João Pedro to score anything across goal.
100%. I think
and that's where we're going to struggle.
100%. And for me, look, when I'm looking at this attack, I can definitely see that you're not a joke going up top. I'm trying to say, like, having these sort of players running at you, like I said, even Welbeck, for me, I'm cautious about him because he loves playing against Chelsea.
Brilliant.
And looking at that midfield there, you can see how you've overrun Forest's midfield. They're all trying to track back. And that's where, for me, when we go through the lineup that I've gone with and what I think he's going to go with, if he does have someone inverting in there, for example, Augusto, Enzo Fernandez needs to make sure that he's coming back to help Caicedo, because Caicedo is brilliant off the ball, but listen, he's not an octopus. Yeah, he can't defend all of this space by himself. He's going to need help here, right? And obviously Lavia's back as well. It's a little bit more balanced, but I'm not sure, Ryan, if he's going to start Lavia, because Lavia's been out for a few games now. Obviously, the last game he wasn't there, and we played really well in the midfield with Cucurella inverting. Again, I'll go through my lineup after, because where they've got so many options, bro, it's very hard to predict at the minute. But it's a healthy headache to have, so I can't complain. So when I'm looking at this attack, yes, I am cautious about it, but at the same time, if you break down your attack here, we've got the likes of Tosin, who could just play out the ball from the back over there. The likes of Levi Colwill. Levi Colwill because he played really well for you guys. He can just play out the ball from the back, and straight away we can score similar goal to what we did against Wolves, against Palace. If you remember, we started from the back as well. So that's where you've got to be cautious as a Brighton fan. If you break down your attacks constantly, we will punish you, right? Especially if we're clinical in front of goal. We will punish you, bro. That's how I'm kind of looking at things. But what have you thought about Chelsea so far, bro? Because obviously you're one that was sort of slandering us. I know we took Caicedo from you, and the narrative seems to be changing at the moment with how we've been getting on. What have you thought about Chelsea's start so far, man?
No, I respect with how you've started, to be fair. It does look a lot better. It's a lot more structured. I think actually the end of last season, you were getting a bit more of a flow. And I think actually Poch got a little bit too much of a hard time for what he deserved. I think, yes, okay, the results weren't very good. But I actually thought with how you played at the end of last season, massively helped by Cole Palmer's form, don't get me wrong. But you were looking really, really good. I think when you come to the Amex, it's a shame really, because actually that game I look back on and I think if only we had more than our sort of under 23 players available, it could have been more of a game from our point of view. But again, you used what you used and you did very well in that. I think you've done again a decent job. You're starting to finish off the chances, and actually you're starting to see a lot of these younger players are starting to come into their fruition a little bit more. You've probably lacked that in the last couple of years. Maybe it felt a little bit like, a bit of a free hit. You're just going to sign a young player and hope that he gets half the potential that he can. But whereas now it seems a little bit more structured, and that's a good thing, and only can be a good thing for you. It helps as well that you've got players like, especially Cole Palmer, and obviously Caicedo, who have been quite established now in that Chelsea rank of being, their sort of go-to guys. They've become a little bit of the not talisman, if you like, but probably, the sort of leaders in that squad now of, they're looking very good, and you can rely on players like Palmer to get a goal if the chips are down. So no, it's impressive with how you've changed. But at the same time, it's really early days. I said to Matisse yesterday, it's small sample sizes, right? So we can't take too much away from Chelsea. We can't, like how we can't take too much away from Brighton yet. It is only September. We've both had a lot of changes, both on and off the pitch. So it'd be interesting to see how consistent it stays.
100%. And, all Chelsea fans at the minute definitely need to, stay humble at the minute, because we've seen progress, we've seen improvements, but there's still a lot more that we need to do. Like I'm saying to you, in terms of our balance in midfield, Maresca, that's something that he still needs to sort out. We've got a lot of players in that position. Enzo Fernandez, for me, I don't like him when he's playing further up in midfield, because I feel like, again, on the transition, he hasn't really got the legs to track back. But then Lavia adds a little bit more balance. But then is Lavia going to start, right? But again, these are the sort of conversations I want to be having. But the main thing at the minute, Ryan, is Maresca is actually starting to build a team, right? He's starting to build a team. He's starting to work out what his best 11 is. He's improving players individually. Colwell is a lot better this season. Jackson, I'm seeing a massive improvements from him.
Jackson's been very surprising, very surprising.
Very good, bro. I don't know if it's the haircut. Maybe it's just the haircut.
It's the celebration, mate. That's what it is. It's the Michael Jackson thing that he did the other day.
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, like in comparison to last year, because last year I rated Jackson, I liked him. This year, he just seems a little bit more assured. It seems like he's gotten used to the league as well. Because people forget, these guys have played together for a year now, right? A lot of these guys are a year into the club. So that bedding in period is kind of over.
Helps.
It helps. So I'm happy with what I've seen so far. But again, at the same time, we've got you guys coming up. Then we've got Forest. After that, we've got the likes of Arsenal, United. We've got Liverpool. That's when I'll be able to judge.
No easy games.
That's when I'll be really able to judge, at what level we're at. Because last year, against the top 6 sides, we did pretty well, to be fair. But we struggled to get over the line against the likes of Arsenal, even Man City, Liverpool, we drew them. Spurs, we beat them. Cool. Newcastle, we beat them at home as well. But I need to see more W's against United again. I need to beat Arsenal this time. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's when I'll be able to see, okay, these guys are really, really serious this season. But so far, so good. I can't lie, man. What have you thought about Maresca as well? Because he was getting cooked. You've signed the championship manager. Like, what have you thought about him so far, bro?
Yeah, fair play. Like I wasn't too familiar with his game, to be honest, because I think when I looked at Leicester, actually they didn't have the best end to the season, did they? They almost threw it away. And that's, I spoke to a lot, because I know a couple of Leicester fans, just from our time of being in the Championship, probably. And actually, they were sort of saying, "Oh, it's a bit of a joke. I can't believe that he's gone there. It's way too early for him to go." Sort of good manager as you've sort of seen. What I do quite like is how sort of convincing he is. He's a little bit more convincing than probably maybe Poch was. Definitely Graham Potter was, because Graham Potter we can probably both, be in a similar sort of sense here of, he's the least convincing guy ever. I think if you're going to want someone to really prove a sort of winning mentality and someone that's going to be, and it also helps. He's a bit of a Pep's disciple as well, doesn't it? Everyone loves a good Pep's disciple, as Arsenal have seen under Arteta. But as I say, no, it does look a lot better. But I think it is really, really early days. There are still a lot of question marks over your squad size, isn't there? I don't know what it is on your point of view as to how you view that. Like, do you think it's a bit too much of an overload? Do you think that Chelsea, you're going to cope with it, or are you still sort of feeling confident with it now?
No, 100%, bro. I think our squad at the minute is quite balanced. We've actually got 2 players for each position. It's not as bloated as what people think. So on the left, you've got Sancho and Mudryk. Up top, you've got Jackson and Nkuku. On the right, you've got Madueke and Neto. Right in midfield, you've got Felix and Palmer. In that role there, you've got Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia. Then you've got Carney. Then you've got the likes of Dewsbury Hall. Those are more fringe players, I would say. But at the same time, you know, the other day we literally made 11 changes, Ryan. And if you look at that lineup that we played Barrow with, that's a Premier League lineup, bro. Right? The likes of João Felix starting, Cuckoo starting, Neto starting. And last year we had a lot of injuries, right? So I've got a little bit of PTSD around that as well.
Same here.
You know, at the minute, we've only got Reece James. We've only got Reece injured, who is always injured anyway. But that's another thing that I spoke about with Maresca. I said, for me, I think his style of play will help keep a lot of players fit because we're not constantly running and pressing like what we did under Poch. And we've got a new medical team now as well.
Style of play? Is it more of a like possession-y sort of thing? Would you try and control the game differently, or what would you call it?
100%, bro. It's definitely more possession-based. He wants to keep the ball a lot more. Against West Ham, I saw a slight adaptation in terms of letting West Ham have the ball, but we're controlling them off the ball. So we wasn't giving them any space. We were just saying to them, okay, cool, come break us down. We've scored our goals now. You can't break us down. And I like that game management because if you're 2-3 goals up, you don't need to constantly keep trying to score more and more goals. That's how you get injured. You know, that's how you end up conceding. So for me, that was very professional. It showed me that he's able to adapt his system. But the main point about Maresca is he wants control. He wants the team to constantly be moving the ball around and play out from the back as well. It's not always playing up. Sometimes I've seen Sanchez going long as well, which is good. So yeah, we need to keep it up. We need to keep it up, man. But listen, let's go through the lineups because you sent me your lineup, which looks pretty much similar to what you guys went with obviously last week. Hopefully my connection is not messing up. Let's put this up here. Am I lagging, by the way? Am I back?
A little bit. I'm all good. I'm used to worse, mate. I've got some terrible Wi-Fi at times, so it's all good.
I don't know what's going on. I've got my Ethernet cable here, man. But talk us through your lineup. What have you got with this lineup, bro?
I think on the most part, it's sort of self-explanatory. I think Verbruggen's now number one, made that quite clear. The only one that I've probably got a question mark over actually here is Purvis, whether Estepinian's going to be fit enough to start again. Hopefully he is. Then obviously Dunk Van Hecke have been so strong in recent games, but also the last sort of couple of years, really, they formed sort of a bit of a bond. As said to you, I really, really, really hope we don't go for a high line. But in the assumption that we do, because I can't assume that we will change it. Freddy Kadioglu, I thought would be a nice opportunity to see him start right back. I know he's technically a left back, but he can cover both sides. We do also have Tarek Lamptey who could cover for the pace. But I thought if we saw against Forest, Veltman struggled in that sort of counter situations in that transition, and so did Duncan. I think that's kind of expected, really, with both of them not really being the most blessed with any pace. So I think we had to have someone to be able to cover back. Carlos Baleba has been probably one of my players of the season so far. He's just been an absolute breakout star. He's 20, so he's very young. He's superb. He's sort of, we assigned him as the Caicedo replacement. And he's sort of proven to be everything and more. He's very good in the tackle like Caicedo is, very good sort of covering positions and also out of possession as well, which we desperately lacked last season. But the difference with Carlos is, well, he's got different, I can't say that it's too smaller sample sizes, but again, Carlos's early signs is he's that, but he can also take on players and go, sort of bombing forward. He likes a good forward run. He's very, very technically good, and he loves a long shot, as we saw against was it Wolves in the cup. So he hit a 30-yarder, and that was an absolute beauty as well. So he's got a bit more to his game, hopefully one that if we can keep up the potential, probably if Caicedo's 115, you're probably looking at 215 if Carlos can keep it up. But no, he's looking.
Where'd you buy him from again?
Very good. Lille, actually, we spent quite a bit of money on him as well. I think we spent about 27 million. So he was actually quite an expensive signing by our standards, but he's already worth more than that. Jack Hinch, our boy, he's born in the same town as me. He's 18-year-old, absolute star boy. But no, look, he's been really, really good. Probably one that is a bit of a baby growth, maybe.
Didn't he play at left back against Arsenal?
Yeah, he's been playing left back. He played right back last season, but his main position is midfielder, and that's what you want in a midfielder these days. You want someone that can cover pretty much every position on the pitch. I would back him to go everywhere. He's also very, very good going forward. And actually, one of the most underrated things about him, if you looked at him, you would not say that he's good at heading, and his heading ability is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he scored already 3 His
Three this
jump and
season alone?
leap is. No, he scored 3 in his career. It only started breaking out in the last season, so he's got
Okay.
he's hardly really played for us. He's come through our academy, but he started
Mhm.
scoring some goals and making some very good moments for us. Minte Matoma. So this was different because Minte was dropped last week, and obviously we gave Adingra his chance. Adingra didn't really take it too much. Probably had one of his worst games actually this season. Despite Adingra having a really, really good start to the season, he's contributed to a lot of goals already.
Mhm.
But I think it was a nice chance for Minte to have a go. I thought, with his pace, you can never know if you are going to have a few limited chances. If Chelsea do get on top, you want someone that can be a quick counter presser. I think Minte Matoma can bring that. Mitoma, it speaks for himself. One of the most exciting players in the league on his days. He's unbelievable.
It's gone a bit quiet on that side. The hype. I feel like the Matoma hype's died down a bit.
I can't believe it, if I'm honest, because he's still superb. And to be honest, I'm actually happy that it's died down because it's only good for us, and he's not being sold for more money. So I'd rather keep hold of him if people think if people think he's washed up, and that's fine by me because he's he's the difference maker if he wants to be. Jorginho, I like him already. 40 million from Leeds, record signing. So by that alone, commands a place. We're starting to see a little bit more link-up play from him. I'd like to see more sort of shots from him as well. I want to see some more goals, but already like him. Welbeck, the boy. He gets better and better and better, Danny. I think it's testament to him. The physique he keeps himself in is unbelievable. The guy's 33. He looks like he's aging downwards. He's seems to be getting better. He's becoming more and more clinical in front of goal as well, which is insane. And we're managing to keep him fit. Touch wood so far. He's not managed to get himself injured. So Welbeck's.
Where is that guy?
He's been injured since 6 months ago. So he's had surgery. He's back now. But again, limited pressure. He's still a teenager. I hate how people think of Ferguson as being like the star boy, because it's like he's a teenager. Not many strikers at 18, 19 years old are playing in the Premier League. Most of them are on loan somewhere or in an academy. So it's important to remember he's got 12 goals in the Premier League as a teenager. Only Rooney's got more than him, or has the same as him. So it's important to remember that he's still a top talent. He's still that clinical, lethal forward that can be. But yeah, he needs to not have too much pressure on him. If he can come on off the bench, say Welbeck gets tired around 60, it's a good opportunity for him. So yeah, we'll see. But that's my team.
Yeah, no, that's a decent team, and I'm not gonna take that team lightly. But to be honest with you, Ryan, listen, I honestly feel like we've got a better team than you, and we should be beating you.
Well, I'd like to hope so for $1 billion, to be fair.
I'll say it, and right now, like I said, it's quite difficult to sort of predict what Maresca is going to go with. But I'm just gonna sort of go with what I think he'll go with, and then I'll show you what I would personally go with for this game. This is what you're looking at here. Let me just zoom in a little bit more so you can actually see
a few recognizable faces on there, isn't there?
Right. Exactly, recognizable faces there. This is actually the Brighton derby, bruv. So you've got obviously Sanchez in goal. The Brighton derby. So like this is the shape that we tend to have on the ball. So it's normally like a 3-2-5, with obviously Tosin, Colwell, and Cucurella building from the back. Colwell's normally the one that's central there. He's been very good. He's been our best defender this season, right? He's looking a lot better now.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, looking a lot more assured. Looking like a leader from the back, and the way he just punches it into the midfield. You'll be familiar with it, obviously, with De Zerbi and stuff. So he's been very good. I reckon it's probably going to invert Gusto for this game, because he's going to want Cucurella playing at left centre back. With Gusto, he can actually provide those overlapping runs as well. He got an assist the other day against what they called Barrow from a wide position. So he'll probably be picking out those sort of positions in and around this area here. But the problem that I've got with Gusto is on the transition, he doesn't seem to understand his positioning as well as Cucurella when he inverts. That's the problem I have. So what tends to happen is Gusto will go back into the back four like this, and then Caicedo's all by himself, and Enzo takes forever to get back. And then before you know it, like we saw in the screenshot, you've got all these guys just running at you, which is a problem in itself. So for this game, I need Gusto, to get back into shape at a good time, and Enzo needs to be coming back. Because what we've seen this season is Enzo basically taking up the left half space. which for me, again, Ryan, isn't Enzo's best position. Like, I prefer Enzo in the first phase like this. Because when you've got Enzo in the first phase like that, he tends to pick up the ball, dictate the game, switch it across to Madueke. He can switch it to Sancho, and he can just keep the ball ticking. So I would rather see this. If it was up to me, I'd rather see this like this. Caicedo counter pressing, just like Ndidi used to for Leicester, and Enzo picking up the ball from deep. But the issue here is Maresca doesn't seem to trust him on the transition, because obviously he can't break up play like Caicedo. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think that's probably why he's got Caicedo here and then Enzo here, right? But again, we need Enzo tracking back. This is the shape that I want to be seeing off the ball. I want to be seeing like a 4-2-3-1 basically. So Caicedo, Palmer over here like that. Madueke needs to track back. Sancho needs to track back, and then Jackson just staying up. This is the shape I want to be seeing off the ball, right? Everyone close together like this. Then you've got the back four like that as well, right? That's what I want to be seeing.
Quite
in
similar
attack,
to our shape, in fairness. Not much.
Yeah, it's very similar. Very similar.
Different.
So, yeah, in attack, I want to be seeing combinations between Enzo and Sancho. They seem like they can have a good relationship there. Against West Ham, he looked a lot better, to be fair, Enzo Fernandez. And Sancho looked really good against Bournemouth. I need a better game than what I saw last game. Because on the ball, he wasn't really getting on it as much. But off the ball, he did really well defensively. Madueke, I need you to be clinical in front of goal, because last time against Palace, bro, this guy missed 2 clear-cut chances in the first half. Right? We could have been at least 2 goals up in the first half if it wasn't for him, So, yeah, I need another big game from him. Jackson, you saw what he did last week against West Ham, but I don't want him to just think now he's comfortable. He needs to keep going. He needs to make sure that when he's in front of goal, lock your foot. I keep telling this guy, Ryan, just lock your foot like what you did against West Ham last week, and you'll score more goals. And obviously, as always, Cole Palmer just roaming these areas. He's basically got a free role in this team, I'm seeing this season a lot more guys are trying to batter him. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But he's still finding a way to get out. And he's still finding ways to put up numbers as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the team that you're most likely going to see. You're probably going to see, like I
Where's
said,
Dewsbury Hall?
Oh mate, he's on the bench, man. He's on the bench. He's definitely not.
Such a strange one. I'll never forget. I never understand.
Do you know what? You're not gonna turn down a move to Chelsea though, are you? That's the thing. Like,
no, you're money, isn't it? Why would you why would you deny it? Like, I'd go for the money. I'll be gone. But I mean, the point is when it's always interesting to me. The
wages have gone down. I mean, the average wage that we pay now is about 70k a week. So he's not even going to be getting. Yeah, if he was under Roman and he came, he might be getting 150 a week. But
yeah, probably now, more to be there.
Yeah, we've actually lowered the wages. So I think the highest paid player right now is Sterling. He's left, obviously. In the squad right now is Fofana. Fofana's on 200k a week.
Really?
Everyone else is on like not little money, but it's like 30k, 40k. I think Lavia's on like 40k a week. Sancho apparently is taking 100k a week now. Jackson obviously has got a new contract now. Madueke is on 50k a week. Palmer's on about 120k a week. So the wages have actually gone down quite a lot. That's one thing that Clearly actually managed to do. So we don't pay crazy wages
Didn't know that
anymore. But obviously with Lavia coming back, you could potentially see this as well, Ryan, to be fair. This is what I'm saying. So many options. I highly doubt that you're going to see this, to be honest, because again, Lavia just came back and this lineup doesn't involve Enzo. And right now, Enzo Fernandez is our captain. So I feel like he's being shoehorned into the team. Again, he had a good game last game, to be fair to him. But if it was up to me, this is probably what I would put out here. Lavia in that first phase, picking up the ball. Caicedo, again, counter-pressing from the front. Gusto in this formation can actually overlap as well a lot more because he's not having to invert as much. So that's what I would probably put out if it was up to me. But again, I highly doubt we'll see this, man. I think we're going to see the lineup that I've just showed you there with that 3-2-5 build-up. So yeah. That's what it's looking like, man. What do you think about that team? Who are you worried about?
Yeah, I mean, it's scary, isn't it? Like I don't think we're ready yet. I don't think we're there yet. So, I think that our team as well will look very, very different come mid-season. I want to see Matt O'Reilly. I want to see Matt Swiefer. I want to see João Pedro, sort of being regular starters. So, yeah, obviously it's a bit of worrying really with how we are. We are playing okay. Don't get me wrong. I think with what we're doing well. We're still in and around, but I'm not quite sure as to what extent this will be our biggest test this season. I think obviously Arsenal was a huge test, but then it was sort of helped up by the red card in the second half. With that said, though, I do think that Huxtable handled the game very, very well, and to his credit, changed it at the right times and punished Arsenal for getting a red card. We didn't just sort of let them back into it and get anything back. So we'll see. I'll be in a similar sort of spot as I was last year, actually, just behind the goal at Stamford Bridge, and just
Are you going to be there? Yeah,
we don't lose. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm making a trip up tomorrow, and we'll see. I've got a decent parking spot actually this time, so I'm quite happy with that. Because so many times come back through Putney High Street, it's an absolute nightmare. I'm sure people that follow you probably know, and you probably know. So it's a better way out. But I'm excited, mate. I'm excited. You know, it's the Chelsea game's always one now, isn't it? That you look for that and obviously Palace. But I think there's something about us playing Chelsea. I don't know if you agree with it, but it has a bit of fire to it in the games. I think the players will be right up for it. I think Sanchez, Cucurella particularly, they get a hard time from us, rightly so. They give it back, they enjoy it, right? So I think it's we all gracefully hate each other at the same time. But I think 100%. I actually want to say, by the way, because a lot of your fans seem to think that I hate Caicedo, and I was getting some crazy claims thrown at me for hating Caicedo, and I said, no, come on. Actually, Caicedo's the only one that we don't mind. I think Caicedo, Colwell, we're all right with. Caicedo's been quite respectful, to be fair, since he's left. It's Cucurella we don't like.
What's he done? We don't like. What did he do?
Mate, honestly, that summer, I think he said it was a dream to play for 3 clubs, or said he was a fan of 3 clubs. He said he was a fan of Barca, wanted to go home.
Yeah.
First. Then he said he was a fan of City. Then he said he was a fan of Chelsea. I think he said, I watched Stamford Bridge when I was growing up or something. Or when I was coming into Brighton, I saw Stamford Bridge and wanted to play there. But then like a week before that, he said exactly the same thing about going to City. And I think he said a similar sort of thing about Barca. And I'm sure there was another one as well. So yeah, I think it was just one of them where we're like, mate, why are you lying?
All these players do that though, isn't it? That's the thing. And Cucurella is a shit house. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a bit of a shit house, So he needs to.
He rattled England fans as well. He rattled in, he's one of them, I think. And I think, I don't know if you saw Adam Webster's comment on Sanchez's Instagram the other day. But Sanchez made a save against who is it he playing? A penalty save. And I think it was Webster commenting. That was the one. And Webster commented saying, nice of you to dive the right way for once. So I don't think anything's forgotten. He never made a penalty save, by the way. That's why people would say that. We'd always say, Sanchez ain't going to save it. But yeah, he actually made a save. So I think, there's always back and forths there.
He's been good. He's been good, man. And like I said to you, I saw on Data MB earlier that he's actually the best performing keeper in the league.
Yeah, it's very impressive to be fair. I guess, shot-stopping, he was always here and there. It was with his feet for us. He would just kick the ball off the pitch. And you'd be like, why'd you do that? And then, it broke the whole play down. That was his biggest issue.
That's the problem, bro. And to be fair, like the past 2 games, I've actually seen his distribution improve. Like he's actually managing to find a Chelsea player. Against Man City, it was so poor, bro. I'm watching Edison, because I was at that game as well, I'm watching it behind the goal. Edison, every little ping's just going to a Man City top. Sanchez, every time he's pinging it, it's just going off the pitch, like what you're saying.
You're like, what are you doing? Yeah,
exactly.
No, it's the same. It was the same here. It was always a very... I mean, I've got to be honest, fair play if he's turned it around there, because I remember speaking to a Chelsea fan, was it Alex Goldberg, when you first signed him? I said, it's the only one we didn't get. I got you signing Caicedo because he was one of the best midfielders in the league that year. Obviously, I get you wanting to keep hold of Colwell. I got you signing Cucurella at the time because he was I think he was our player of the season that year. So I got why you signed some of these players. But I think it was Sanchez. I thought, really? I thought if you're going to sign anyone, go get Verbrogen or someone like that, go hijack another one. Or Beadle or someone, or Rushworth. But so I was quite surprised.
That Roberts guy, the goalkeeper coach that we took from you as well. Apparently he managed Sanchez for years at Brighton.
He did. He was the one that I think was quite instrumental in him being called up from the youth team during lockdown.
So I reckon he probably put in a good word for him, man. But to be fair to him, look, he seems to have turned it around a little bit. Again, it's mainly been sort of 2, 3. Actually, no, it's been more than 2 games. It's been Wolves game as well. Palace, he was good that game as well. He's actually been all right, apart from the City game. I would say he's been all right. And our defense, Ryan, has actually improved quite a bit, bro. Like in the box, we're defending very well. From the back as well, like the cohesion between our centre backs is improving. Cucurella has improved in comparison to the start of the season. Gusto, I still need to see more in the league because, to be fair to him, like he hasn't been great this season. He's been a bit sloppy. But I need to see another game where he picks it up because he's up against Mitoma, and Mitoma's a hard guy to be up against.
Mitoma won't mess around. If he gets a chance, he will get round you. I think that is one thing that I can always be confident with Mitoma on.
100%. But I knew Gusto was serious when we played you lot in pre-season, and he came up against Mitoma and he locked him up. If you remember that game, right?
Yeah, sort of do. Yeah, sort of do.
In America, bro.
Yeah.
I remember that game.
That was the one.
Well, listen, just to finish off, man, predictions. I'll go with you. Yeah, you're traveling on the road. What's your prediction for this game, bro?
I don't know, because I'm still not quite. I'm not confident yet, and I think a lot of people don't like the fact I'm not confident yet. But I think I'm still not completely certain on the football we're playing. If we play high line at your place, we will lose. I'll say that right now. We can't do that. And I think if we were to be as naive, I said I got it to a degree against Forest because we were trying to kill them off. We should have killed them off. That Welbeck chance, that was 3-1 any day of the week. If that happened, the high line would have worked. But a team that's half sort of with it is going to pick that apart. So we can't go to Stamford Bridge and do that. So on the assumption we don't, and obviously with no João Pedro is really, really, really big. I can't emphasize how big that is. Because without him, it's a different ball game. It's you need 2 chances to score rather than 1, or maybe 3. Let's go 1-1. That's me being hopeful, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, I can't predict a loss, can I? What's the point in coming onto a podcast? Oh, you're gonna lose.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
what's the point?
Cool.
I got to back it a bit, and I surely.
Yeah. No, 100%, bro. Back your team, man. You know what? I'm gonna say 3-1 for this. Like, I know we've just picked up 2 clean sheets, but I'm still a bit skeptical about how we are on the transition, man. That's the thing. And like I said, I've seen how Brighton attack. You attack with a lot of players, right? So if we're not on it, we can concede a goal. And it's up to these lot to prove to me that they can handle situations like this. It's up to Maresca to prove to me that he can find the right balance for this game, right? So I'm gonna predict 3-1. I think we're gonna outscore you. But like I said, I think you maybe just nick a goal. We've improved from set pieces, to be fair, but it's just from open play. I can see you lot just scoring. I can see Welbeck scoring, man. Just something's telling me this guy's gonna bang. But I'm gonna say 3-1. I haven't got a ticket as of yet, but I'll probably message a few people now, see if I can go tomorrow. If I'm there, I'll give you a shout.
But for sure, mate. I'll meet you outside.
Yeah, but listen, bro, love for coming on, man. Enjoyed that chat. People, make sure that you go subscribe to Ryan on Talk Seagulls. Let them know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt many of you want to come and watch me on Talk Seagulls. If you do, then fair play. Unless you want to see a meltdown, I'd be surprised if you want to see any more Brighton content. But you can follow me on TSR Football on Instagram as well. That's sort of my general football stuff. And of course, myself, Ryan Adser, on Twitter. Probably be winding you up in the summer window, probably in the January window. But then I can be all right at times as well. So you can also see me then. But thank you for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, love, my bro. Love, man. But listen, people. Up the fucking Chels every time. We need to make sure we get those 3 points. Keep it coming, man. Keep it coming before Forest. We move. But yeah, until the next one, people. Love.